As the Arthur J. Kania Dean, it is my honor to open the Charles Widger School of Law session of the 174th Annual Commencement of Villanova University, and the 62nd exercise which Juris Doctor degrees will be conferred. Mr. Brian McCabe of the Office of Mission Ministry will lead us in the invocation. After the invocation, please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be sung by Ashley Catalano-Leckerman of the class of 2017.
Creator God, we gather today as people of different backgrounds and religious traditions, mindful of the days that have brought us here, with eyes of hope set on the future. We are grateful for all of the experiences which have comprised the careers of this graduating class. The classes and assignments that have challenged them to see with new eyes and reason with new methods. The classmates who have supported them in times of struggle and celebrated with them in moments of triumph. The faculty and staff who have accompanied them along this journey, providing knowledge, inspiration, and counsel. The clients and colleagues who have opened their eyes, broken their hearts, lifted their spirits, and reframed their understanding of the law. And for all of the loved ones who have supported, waited, endured, encouraged, and loved each member of this class in countless ways. For all of these things, and many more that go unspoken, we are grateful. Upon this fertile ground of shared experiences, we know that seeds have been planted and taken root. Today, our graduates prepare to sprout into new growth beyond this campus and these familiar relationships. As they continue to grow, we pray. May justice be a solid trunk connecting and supporting all of their work and pursuits, so that even when it is not expedient or popular, they might utilize their training to serve people, communities, and organizations to the best of their abilities. May mercy be the leaves providing balance, respite, and comfort to all who seek their counsel, support, and expertise, particularly those in our world who are most vulnerable. And may hope be the fruit of their labor, nourishment for those who suffer, beauty in a world that can sometimes seem ugly, and a sign of the world you desire in which violence and injustice are supplanted by right relationship. In this time of celebration, we raise our voices to you and open our hearts and hands to one another. We pray this in your good and holy name, who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
Oh, say can you
On behalf of the faculty, I welcome and salute the class of 2017. I welcome the families and friends of the graduates because without your support, the class of 17 would not be here today. Before proceeding, let me introduce the Reverend Peter M. Donahue, President of Villanova University, also joining us with a stage party, members of faculty, Board of Consultors, University Deans, and Administration. Welcome. We gather today to celebrate the personal and academic achievements of the candidates for Juris Doctor degrees and the Master of Laws and Taxation degrees, and to honor the outstanding professional achievements of our Medallion Award recipient. This year, the Law School is proud to present our Medallion Award to an especially worthy recipient, Justice Deborah Todd of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. Todd Agard, Vice Dean, will introduce Justice Todd. Justice Todd, could you please join us?
Justice Deborah Todd's distinguished career is an inspiration for her groundbreaking achievements and her deep dedication to promoting justice and the public good. The daughter of a steelworker, Justice Todd was born in Elwood City, Pennsylvania, and is an honors graduate of Chatham College. She received a Juris Doctor degree from the University of Pittsburgh and an LLM degree in judicial process from the University of Virginia. Justice Todd began her legal career as an in-house litigation attorney for U.S. Steel Corporation, where she worked as a trial lawyer with an emphasis on complex litigation. She served 8 years as a judge on the Superior Court of Pennsylvania, and then in 2007, voters elected her to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. She was the second woman elected to the Supreme Court in its nearly 300-year history. Justice Todd's commitment to public service is not limited to her work on the Supreme Court. She is a board member of the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. She recently served as chair of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's Elder Law Task Force. She serves as the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's liaison justice to the Advisory Council on Elder Justice in the Courts, the Pennsylvania Interbranch Commission for Gender, Racial, and Ethnic Fairness, and to the Pennsylvania Veterans Courts. She is a former president of Pittsburgh Action Against Rape. Justice Todd has received many awards in recognition of her outstanding professional achievements and good works. These awards are far too numerous to list completely, but they include an honorary doctorate in public service from Chatham University, the 2007-2008 Woman of the Year from the Legal Intelligencer Women in the Profession, the Philip Werner Amram Award for Professional Excellence and Betterment of the Greater Community from the Allegheny County Bar Association, the 225th Anniversary Medallion from the University of Pittsburgh, the Judge Robert E. Dower Award for Judicial Leadership and Excellence from the Amen Corner, the Susan B. Anthony Award for Promoting Equality in the Legal Profession from the Women's Bar Association of Western Pennsylvania, and the first Visionary Award, recognizing individuals who have made a significant impact in the lives of survivors of sexual violence from Pittsburgh Action Against Rape. Father President, Dean Alexander, and members of the class of 2017, it is my honor to present Justice Todd for the Medallion Award.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for that tremendous honor. I agreed to speak here at the invitation of your wonderful dean and did not realize till much later that you would also be honoring me. So that means a great deal to me. I'm privileged to be here. Dean Alexander, President Father Donahue, Dean Agard, faculty, trustees, distinguished guests, It is a tremendous honor for me to address you here today at the Villanova University's Law School Commencement. To the class of 2017, congratulations! You did it. This day is indeed a day of joy for each one of you. Your loved ones and friends and family can look forward to seeing more of you. Your classes and exams are behind you, at least until you begin to prepare in earnest for the bar exam. But for now, at least, you can sit back and revel in your success. Although we've gathered here today to applaud those of you who will receive degrees, there are indeed many unsung heroes in this audience. I am referring, of course, to your parents and families. So to all of your parents, as well as your grandparents, spouses, partners, family members, and friends who have been and continue to be the wind beneath your wings, let me congratulate all of you as well. I am sure that today you graduates feel a sense of gratitude to this law school and to these professors. It was here that you learned to think like a lawyer, to stand up for yourself, and to appreciate the rule of law. A great deal happens to you during your 3 years as a law student. You develop into the person you were meant to be, and you leave behind the naivete and undergraduate mindset you came in with. Indeed, you have exchanged those things for a new set of resources, an appreciation, and hopefully a passion for the law, an inner strength you did not know you had, and, I trust, a collection of newly polished and refined ideals. This commencement is about you. It is about your accomplishments, the struggles I know you have endured, the challenges you have overcome, and the victories you have achieved in arriving at this milestone. This day is also about beginnings, the start of a bright new future for each one of you. While becoming a lawyer may bring you great benefits, you bear a great responsibility as well. Indeed, the historic English concept of calling to the bar remains an underpinning of the respect and stature with which you are ordained by virtue of your calling to this noble profession. I had the opportunity to spend some time with Dean Alexander and some of your distinguished professors. I am so impressed by the Dean's mission and the faculty's commitment to instill values into your law school education, Villanova's values. Whether in the future by performing pro bono work, volunteering, or sitting on the board of a charity about which you feel passionate, or devoting your professional life to representing those who are less fortunate, you will embody those values, and your life will be enriched if you pursue justice and equality. In the words of Senator Robert F. Kennedy, each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. It is your duty and obligation as newly minted standard bearers of our profession to send out as many ripples as you can, or even make some tidal waves in the name of hope and justice. As lawyers and guardians of our democracy, you understand the importance of the rule of law and the sanctity of our Constitution. It is this reverence for the rule of law that renders our public officials accountable and the outcome of our court decisions predictable. It assures that our citizens are treated equally under the law. The rule of law offers protection against the cruelty of arbitrary will. It is the keystone, the cornerstone, and a fundamental element in our democracy. Please also remember that the quality of your future, both in your professional and personal life, is up to you. It is your determination, your self-confidence, and most importantly, your attitude that will guide you to success, however you choose to define it. Author Joyce Meyer tells the following story, which reminds me very much of the plight of young lawyers. It is about 3 men, simple laborers, who had been hired to help build the magnificent London Cathedral designed by renowned 17th century architect Sir Christopher Wren. It was anticipated to be an architectural masterpiece. A London journalist dropped by the job site and asked the 3 men a simple question: "What are you doing here?" The first man answered, "I'm cutting stone for 10 shillings a day." The second man replied, "I'm putting in 10 hours a day on this job." But the third man gave a different answer altogether. He said, "I'm helping Sir Christopher Wren construct one of London's greatest cathedrals." Isn't it amazing how your attitude can affect your outlook on life? When you begin working as a new attorney, chances are you will not be asked to design the magnificent cathedral, but rather you will be asked to cut the stone and lay the foundation. You will be the one reviewing thousands of documents in a warehouse in Conshohocken. You will be the one sorting through tons of records and preparing answers to interrogatories. You will be the one the senior partner asks on a Friday afternoon to draft a brief that is due on Monday. That is the lot of the new attorney. So the choice is yours. Will you be the attorney who focuses on how much money you're making, or the one who obsesses about how many hours you are billing, or will you be the one who recognizes that your task, however menial it may seem, and however tedious it may be, is part of a bigger picture and the foundation for a case that is significant and important to your client? Believe me, it is in times like these that your attitude will make all the difference. On the subject of attitude, I would like to share with you one of my favorite poems by Charles Swindoll. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break an organization. The remarkable thing is, we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. What does a positive attitude mean in practical terms? It means being a gracious winner, because sometimes you will win. And it means not being a sore loser, because sometimes you will lose. It means treating your superiors with respect, and it also means treating your subordinates with respect. It means when people support you, and they will, showing gratitude. And it means when people you thought would support you disappoint you, and they will, letting go of the bitterness. As you embark on this first day of your new life as law school graduates, I implore you, if you hold any bitterness in your heart toward anyone, let it go, for it will only hold you back and keep you from attaining true happiness and satisfaction in your professional and personal lives. I also urge you to remember that no career is worth sacrificing the fulfillment that you will derive from your personal relationships and family. Don't take yourselves too seriously, no matter how pressing and important your careers become. Don't skip that third grade class play, that fifth grade dance recital, or that special dinner with your spouse. Don't allow yourself to miss your grandmother's 80th birthday party or your father's retirement dinner. Your son's soccer game and your daughter's track meet are far more important than the other responsibilities that might be tugging at you. And you will be tugged, and you will be pulled, and the choices will not always be easy. I've always believed that the secret of balancing a number of balls in the air is knowing which ones cannot be dropped. Now, please don't misunderstand my message. There is unquestionably a time for hard work, for devoting yourself selflessly to developing and furthering your careers, and for representing your clients. There is a time to work all night preparing for trial, or to travel all over the country taking depositions. And perhaps that time is now, at the beginning of your journey. Now is the time to establish yourself in the eyes of your employer, your coworkers, and fellow attorneys as a dedicated, eager, and dependable advocate and counselor. First impressions last a lifetime, but never lose sight of the need for balance. In striving for success, I have found that there is no reason to be anything other than who you are in order to make it in what is admittedly a tough profession where assertiveness and tenacity reign supreme. You can be tough without being a bully. You can be kind without being weak. There was a book published in 2004 entitled, "Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office." Well, as a future Chief Justice of Pennsylvania, I'm here to tell you, nice girls do get the corner office. My final message is a reminder of the unequaled value of integrity. Justice Stephen Breyer has observed, "We cannot escape the negative meaning that a failure of integrity, a failure to live up to our standards of right and wrong, will give to the stories we ourselves shape. Money can vanish overnight, power disappear, reputation evaporate, but character, personal integrity, is a rock that stays secure." There's a prominent Philadelphia attorney named Steve Cozen, who is also a tremendous philanthropist, who has given back to this community in myriad and meaningful ways. He has said, "Becoming an attorney will signify what you are, but it is not who you are. Indeed, each of you is much more than that. Never forget where you came from and who you are." And so it is, class of 2017. I urge you to keep these precepts of public service, positive attitude, and personal integrity close to your hearts in the years to come. I entreat you to hold sacred the rule of law and our Constitution. Be ambitious, not only for yourselves, but for your profession, your community, and for this remarkable democracy of ours. But also remind yourselves to strive for balance in your lives. In closing, commencement speakers are supposed to leave you with words of wisdom from great philosophers and scholars. So I will leave you with the guidance of two of my personal favorites, Oliver Wendell Holmes and Dr. Seuss. First, the words of Justice Holmes, which have inspired my journey. Have faith and pursue the unknown end. And now Dr. Seuss. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Congratulations, and may God bless you all.
Justice Todd, that was wonderful. Thank you for your words. And as one who will read Dr. Seuss in con law, I applaud your reading of The Bard today. And now I present Simeon S. Poles of the class of 2017, selected by his classmates to deliver the commencement address for the students.
It's so much scarier when you're actually up here. Good morning, Father President, distinguished faculty, honored guests, family, friends, Professor Caudill in Geneva. He made me put that in. And of course, the Villanova University Charles Widger School of Law class of 2017. First of all, let's hear it for Ashley Catalano-Leckerman singing the national anthem earlier. That was amazing. Amazing. Full disclosure, though, I was actually offered that gig before she was, but I decided that, you know, she's my friend, and I wanted to let her share her gift with the world. Plus, I sound worse than Caudill rapping about the rule against perpetuity, so that wasn't really going to work. And of course, Justice Todd just gave us a wonderful speech. Let's hear it for her. Of course, this puts me in a pickle, though. I mean, on the one hand, I want to give an amazing speech and bring down the House. But on the other hand, I think upstaging the future Chief Justice of Pennsylvania gets you disbarred. So thanks for that quandary, Villanova Law. Of course, I'm honored to have won this election to be this year's Speaker. I really am. And of course, nobody in the history of the law school has won a more impressive victory than me. Nobody. Okay? It was the most amazing victory in the history of victories. I won bigly. It was huge. Thank you. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, of course. You know, classmates often say I have more in common with the 44th President of the United States than I do with the 45th. Smart, charming, devilishly handsome, elected to make change. The only difference between 44 and me is that when I leave here, I won't be riding jet skis with Richard Branson in the Caribbean. I'll be reviewing the Erie Doctrine with Richard Freer for the bar exam. I mean, obviously everybody put a lot of faith, these guys put a lot of faith in me to give this speech, and as you can also see, they chose so poorly. Now, I've got just a couple housekeeping matters before we really dive into this thing. First of all, we need to wait another 30 minutes to start the rest of this thing for Josh Jacobs to get here. You know, because Josh gets to everything about 30 minutes late. Oh, wait, he's here. Oh, okay. We're good then. We're good then. Second of all, my friend Bob Turchik, where's Bob? There he is. When I got elected to do this, he asked me how long I planned on being up here. And because he has important things to do later on. Bob, I can wrap this up in about 2 hours, okay? So that's the best I can do, though, I'm sorry. Third, Father President, actually, if you could do me a favor and get on the hotline to Jesus and tell him that if he could keep me from making a fool of myself up here, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you. It's always nice to call in the big guns. And I'd also like to give some huge recognition to my two ghostwriters for this speech, Chris Reese and Eric Burkhart. And don't look so shocked. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. These two guys right here. And don't look shocked. Everybody in the game has ghostwriters. But one note, if you're offended by any jokes or you don't like them, feel free to direct your righteous indignation to those two gentlemen right there. Especially Rick if you're offended. Okay? On the other hand, the good ones were all my idea. Also, thanks to Sarah Ponzio and Karen Johnson in the alumni office for accommodating the unruly mob I brought with me, otherwise known as my family, right over here. We appreciate you. Thank you. We all appreciate you taking care of everybody, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. What do we say, Poles family? Thank you. Okay. I taught them well. Now, a quick disclaimer. I couldn't fit everybody into this speech. I mean, I only have 2 hours up here, okay? And remember, Bob has things to do. So if you're not mentioned by name, please know I love you anyway. Although one shout out I do have to give immediately, or else I can't go home, is to my amazing girlfriend, Carlene. She put up with the long hours and the late nights, all the due dates. She listened as I recited my outlines and gave Oscar-worthy performances of pretending to actually care. She's the best partner I could have hoped for through this journey, and I love her very much. Thank you. Also, this thing's going to put out my eye. Now, I was going to come out here and roast our professors, roast professional development, roast my fellow students. But last night, I reconsidered my approach and decided to take the high road today. Okay, no, I did not decide to take the high road today. I'm totally going to roast you people because this is my speech, and you can do what you want when you're going to be the next president of the United States. Now, you know, our faculty at Villanova Law is top-notch. I mean, these are second-to-none people, just really, really smart. And they also ruined our lives, particularly during 1L year. Let me give you some examples. Professor Wertheimer taught some of us torts, and she constantly said that the cases we read would make our heads explode. Now I know she was really talking about law school and not bargain appliances blowing up in your face. I also have nightmares about some cases, though. You know, like the one where that lady's on the back of the jet ski, and she's not wearing the wetsuit, and there's no handhold, and she falls off the back, and then the water, listen, let me tell you something. Do not ride a jet ski if you're not wearing a wetsuit. It doesn't end well. That's all I'm going to say. In fact, somebody tell Obama to cancel that jet ski date with Richard Branson right now. And Professor Channinson, who teaches criminal law. I mean, he's got a mustache, he drives a minivan, and he teaches people about murder. I mean, there's a clue joke in there somewhere, right? You know, has anyone ever called you Professor Plum, Professor Channinson? You know, dying student laying there. It was Channinson in the library with the candlestick. Actually, the murder weapon was an exam that nobody can finish in 3 hours. But Professor Channinson's a fellow Trekkie, and our charter says we should never speak ill of one another, so live long and prosper, Professor. And Professor Risch taught contracts to us. Now look, I'm old, okay? Look, I'm at least 73 in law school years. And never in all my years on the earth has an exam made me go dry heave in the bathroom until that contracts exam. Actually, I'm not sure if it was the exam or all those hypotheticals we did all year about tofu dogs. I mean, which are disgusting. Like, who eats a tofu dog? I mean, that's... By the way, that exam, Professor Risch, that exam you gave was really a property exam, which prompts a question. I mean, did we as students manifest our mutual assent to take a property exam from you instead of a contracts exam? I mean, it's weird, right? I mean, I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that Professor Sirico and Dean Agard, you should watch your back. Speaking of Dean Agard, dude, too many A's in that name. Okay? It's too much. I mean, seriously, your name has more A's than your grade distribution. You know? I mean, if your name matched your curve, it'd be Begard. For the record, Dean Agard, that was a Rick joke, so if you're offended, just... Okay. You know, law school also profoundly changes the way you think and the way you behave. And thanks to Professor Brennan, it changed the way I talk. I mean, just the other night, my girlfriend asked if I wanted pizza. And I said, from where? And I said, well, you know, maybe we could do the place up the street, or maybe a chain. I mean, some of the chains aren't bad. You know, see Pizza Hut. You know, see also Little Caesars. But see Papa John's, because it's terrible. And also I picked up the little Brennan hand gesture. Now I explain things to people like that. I can't stop doing it. But at least now I know what the non-delegation doctrine is and separation of powers are. Sort of. And Dean Barton. She is the nicest, kindest, most amazing human being you will ever meet. And the fact that she has to sign off on my character and fitness assessment has nothing to do with what I just said. It's completely irrelevant. And professional development. Now, I know some of us, Rick, have complained mightily about PD over the last few years, but the program has truly equipped us all to succeed. I mean, they taught us not to wear flip-flops to work, not to get drunk at the holiday party at your firm or at your company, or sexually harass a coworker. I mean, without PD, I might have, I don't know, gotten drunk and sexually harassed a coworker while wearing flip-flops at the holiday party, which would be terrible and wrong. In all seriousness, though, I do want to thank the wonderful members of the PD program for actually giving us truly valuable insight into how, not just how to be professionals, but how to do so with grace, ethics, and competence. I also want to sincerely thank the VLS faculty, even though I just roasted them a little bit, for their amazing contribution to our legal education. Now we know what the law is, and maybe even more importantly, how we can change it. And I promise you that we'll make you proud of what you taught us. Now, the class of 2017 is awesome, and these are really smart people, but I have some bones to pick with you, too. Like Phil who ran for everything you could in the school except graduation speaker. Like, I'm surprised, Phil, what happened? I mean, you run for everything. And Ronnie Matthew, my fellow tennis geek. Apparently, Ronnie decided a wedding in Hawaii was worth skipping this fine ceremony. And to that I say, he was absolutely right. I mean, if I had tickets to Hawaii, do you think I'd be sitting here humiliating myself in front of these people? And my very own law school bestie and little sister, Sydney Naylor. She went to New York, she worked for Louis Vuitton and BET and got herself on the website. Look, we know that was just an excuse for you to go to New York and party, okay? You're not fooling anybody. But seriously, though, I will say Sydney has been my ride or die since the first day of law school when we left the building terrified and exhausted at 1 a.m. She's never let me down. Plus, she introduced me to her sister, the love of my life. Bonus. You rock, Sid. Or how about our own Molly Gaklinski-Marte? Did I get all that, Molly? I got it all? Okay. Now, I had a hangnail during fall exams, and I was going to ask for an extension because, you know, hangnail, I mean, they're dangerous. I could, you know. And this girl gives birth to the most adorable baby I have ever seen, then comes back and crushes her exams. I mean, thanks for showing us up, Molly. That was really well done. And Luis Canales. I have nothing bad, there he is. I have nothing bad to say about Luis Canales. But Luis, if you could make the check out to Simeon Poles and just fill in an amount you think is fair. And where's the Zoller family? Where y'all at? There they are. You know, Mary Zoller, who's awesome, was one of our co-chairs of the 3L Legacy Committee, and she was great at the job, too. But you see, as a Zoller, she had an unfair advantage, because she's already on a Legacy Committee with her two brothers who also went here. Quick question, is there a fourth one coming? We're maxed out? Maxed out, okay, good. They're maxed out. And how about Liesl Herzl-Betz and Rebecca Firehammer going out to San Fran and almost winning their transactional law competition? Or as I like to call it, how to get Villanova to send you to California to drink wine for free. Ladies, you're not fooling anyone, but I still love you. Now, just a few shout outs if I can. First of all, a huge shout out to Charles Widger for his unbelievable contribution of $25 million to the law school. Now, what you may not know is that Mr. Widger also gave me invaluable career advice. Now I know all I need is $26 million, and this place is mine. Huge shout out to Joe Mariani and the facilities crew, including Dan, who's here today. Daryl, Savoy, and Tyrone for keeping the place running and in good shape. However, shame on you, Villanova, for taking Dan away from the law school. Bring him back. Another shout out to the wonderful folks on the cafe staff for keeping us healthy and fed. Big ups to Lamar, Portia, Brenda, Tanya, Rita, Grace, and Debbie. Also, many thanks to the library staff for guiding us with our legal research and looking the other way when we were generally loud and annoying. We couldn't have made it without you or all the candy you provided. And I want to give a special thank you to the entire Student Services Department. Just amazing people. Marlene and Nancy are so dedicated to the student body that they once performed life-saving surgery on me. I mean, it was a paper cut, but I could have died. I could have bled to death. Big ups to Christina for helping us fund our educations and letting us contribute to the Prince tribute wall in her office. Thanks to Brian McCabe and Matt Carluzzo for talking us off ledges. And many thanks to Susan Misek, our registrar, who did an amazing job of keeping us registered for classes and administering exams, but also picking up the pieces when things went wrong. So thank you very much for that. A big shout out to Balsa and the wonderful work our organization has done here, highlighting diversity along with the other affinity organizations. That's right. It's important work that needed to be done, and there's still more work to do. And a quick shout out to a group I like to call the Squad. Liesl Herzl-Betz, the best Remels competition partner of all time, and if you disagree, fight me. Also Sydney Naylor, Mark Houston, Ashley Hobson, and that lovable curmudgeon, Rick Burkhardt. Because on the Squad, we fought for that inch. We bled and we died for that inch. And guess what? We made it. And a quick shout out to Nora Olszewski, who supplied me with notes and sanity when things got very tough for me personally, and to her boyfriend John for supplying homebrewed beer. Last but by no means least, I want to recognize a very special man. You see, this past year brought some changes to Villanova law. $25 million, we got a new name, and we got a new face in Dean Mark Alexander. Dean Alexander has brought with him a new vision for the school, and there's a buzz in the hall since he came. He's an accomplished scholar, a charming man, and he could even ball. He's charting an amazing new course for us, and I'm excited to see where he takes the school next. And on a personal note, I'd just like to say that as a black man in America, it means everything that I began my journey here under the nation's first black president and get to end my journey under the leadership of the school's first black dean. Bob, how are we doing? Well, now we're at the serious part of today's program, so grab a Kleenex if you got it. And if you have a flask, go ahead and take a swig. Better yet, send it up here. You see, my journey to this moment is an improbable one. but it really begins with someone else's improbable journey, my Nana's. 94 years young, my Nana is here today, just over there. She's adorable. But she's here today to watch her boy graduate from law school. She's proud of me, or so she says every chance she gets, but really, I'm proud of her. You see, she overcame adversity to get herself from the tiny Caribbean island of Grenada to Trinidad, and then to Virginia with a U.S. Navy family. And when she got there, she ran into Jim Crow one day in a Woolworth's. You see, the man behind the counter told her they didn't serve her kind in their establishment. And she looked at him and Jim Crow square in the eye and said, "There's no segregation in heaven, and there shouldn't be any on earth either." And that's who my Nana is, fearless and righteous, all in one cute little package. Over the years, Nana has imparted many lessons to her many children, both biological and spiritual, and also to me. But there are three that really stand out. Be kind to every single person you meet, no matter who they are. Tell the truth, even if it costs you your life. And in all things, do your best and leave the rest up to God. He'll take care of it. Nana raised us all with words like those. And as a result, if you have ever thought of me as kind or compassionate, if I have ever made a positive difference in any of your days or even your lives, the person you should thank is her, not me. Nana was the quarterback of the team that protected me from the worst that my upbringing had to offer. You see, I know what government cheese and government peanut butter taste like. Our neighborhood, once full of children's laughter, eventually succumbed to drugs and violence. Drive-by shootings, a man paralyzed in the street because he couldn't pay his bill, 5 drug houses in a 10-house stretch. Somehow my family and my Nana shielded me from all of that, and I'll never stop marveling at how they managed to pull it off. For a lot of my childhood, my dad worked 3 jobs, 3 hard jobs, to keep us afloat. He saw my potential and capitalized on it. He understood the high stakes of my upbringing, the worth of the investment my family had made, and was determined to see it pay off. I've never met a man as strong as my dad, and to be honest, I don't think I ever will. In those early days, my mom took a few years off from working to be there for me every day. She listened as I told her every little detail of my day, every lesson, every boo-boo, all of it. She supplied me with a perseverance and a quiet strength I can only fully appreciate now looking back. She fed me the unwavering strength of her belief in my potential, but also cautioned me to use that potential to help other people, and so I shall. Thank you, Mom. In addition to my family, God sent along 3 wise men to help my life to help me along this journey to this moment. And I want to recognize their contributions as well as highlight some lessons I think I can draw from their efforts on my behalf. As I grew up, my dad was stretched pretty thin trying to provide for us all and yet be the father that everyone needed, that I needed him to be for his son. Enter Ken Williams. I met Ken at our local tennis courts when I first learned to play, and believe me, I sucked. Ken was the only one who let me play doubles with him that first year. Later, after I went to the Arthur Ashe Youth Tennis Center and got my skills up, I went back to the neighborhood courts. And suddenly everybody wanted me to be on their team. But Ken was having none of that. He was the one who took a chance on me early, and I was his partner, period. Ken has become the older brother I never had, and a man whose friendship and support, whose shoulder to cry on and listening ear I could never imagine being without. So thank you. Now, I met the second wise man while doing mock trial in high school. Larry Turner was assigned to me through the mock trial program's Minority Mentoring Initiative. And I confess that before I met Larry at the mentorship dinner, I thought he'd be some solo practitioner scraping by at Broad and Allegheny. But imagine my surprise when this tall, debonair partner at a big firm sits down next to me and introduces himself. Larry has taught me just what it means to mentor someone and to be there for them 100%. He has always made me feel that my success is important to him, and he has accepted the fact that this is a lifetime arrangement and there's no early termination provision included. And that's a lesson we can learn too. To be there for people who are coming up behind us to help them reach their goals. Because if there's one thing Larry's example has taught me, it's that you're only as good as the person you can develop. So thank you, Larry. Now, the third wise man is someone who I will always admire for his tenacity, his character, his ability as a lawyer, and his faith in and love for me. I met Brian Rosenthal when I was a paralegal. He was one of my first bosses. He quickly became another mentor, a friend, and even family. As I supplied Brian with excuse after excuse about why I couldn't get into law school, let alone succeed in law school, I quickly realized two things about him. One, he had a low tolerance for BS. And two, he was relentless. Over the next couple years, Brian wore me down. One day, he called me into his office and had me shut the door. And he went ham about how I needed to live up to my potential and just do the damn thing already. It was all I needed to hear. Brian helped me through the process of applying to schools, sorting them out, making my decisions, and he was like a proud papa the whole way. Back then, I saw this moment. Thank you. Back then, I saw this moment with Brian in it, watching like an adoring father from the stands, yelling as my name got called to receive my diploma. Unfortunately, he's watching from seats a little higher than I was expecting. You see, we lost Brian to cancer about a month ago after the kind of valiant effort only he could put up against the disease. Right to the end, he fought like the honey badger he was. Right to the end, he was trying to prepare me for life's journey, as he had always done. Right to the end, he was Brian. Larger than life, humbler than most, and one of the best who ever lived. And I'm thankful to have his wife, Amy Jo, or Ma, here with me to share this moment, as I'm sure Brian would have wanted. And because Brian was a diehard Yankees fan, I'm wearing this Yankees pin in his honor today. You see, Brian fought for the little guy, the underdog, the person in need throughout his entire career. His life taught me that lawyers have a crucial role to play in helping people. In this country, we perfect our union through the rule of law, and lawyers help achieve that perfection in the real world. We are indispensable to the progress of this nation, and that comes with a solemn responsibility. Some of us will end up on the front lines of the fight for those who need us most as public interest lawyers and public defenders and prosecutors. Some will end up in places less oriented to that mission, places that include nice paychecks and fancy dinners and golf outings with clients. To them, really to you, I say, don't let your privilege become your prison. This past Martin Luther King Day, I attended the Barristers Association's breakfast in Dr. King's honor, and a pastor gave a sermon that really stuck with me. He talked about the desperation of so many in the city of Philadelphia with its high poverty rate. The pastor said it's fine if all the lawyers in the room gave back by building a house with Habitat for Humanity or painted a school, but the poorest and most vulnerable among us need us for the things that only lawyers can do. He encouraged everyone to give service through the practice of the legal profession, and I encourage you all to do the same. A few weeks ago, the dean hosted a TED Talk by a human rights lawyer who went to bat for a child bride in Afghanistan named Sahar. After the talk, the dean and I were in the cafeteria, and we discussed what keeps people from joining the fight for the underprivileged. And he said, folks don't get involved because they think they have to save the whole world. And I said, no, you don't have to save the whole world. Just save one Sahar. And when you've saved her, find another and save them. I'm not asking you all to save the world. What I'm asking is that when you see an opportunity to help a person who needs you and can't afford to pay, do it. The struggling mother with the landlord-tenant issue, the victim of sex trafficking who escaped abuse and needs protection, the trans person facing discrimination just for being who they are, the family torn apart by our nation's broken immigration system, the young person of color sucked into the school-to-prison pipeline with no hope of escape. Find one, help them, and when you're done, help another. That's all. Now, I want to close with a heartfelt thank you to my fellow students in the class of 2017, even Bob. It has truly been my privilege and honor to learn alongside all of you. But more importantly, it has been a privilege and an honor to learn from you. You all taught me something over these past 3 years, and I've profited from those lessons. I can only hope that I've provided the same in return. Look around at your fellow classmates. This is your garden. Tend to the friendships and the relationships that you've created here. Nurture them and make them grow. These people will be indispensable to your future because this garden right here will yield fruit. Business opportunities, help with difficult problems, and second chances will all come from this garden. So when someone asks you to grab beer or coffee with them, do it. If someone asks you to dinner or lunch, go. Take whatever opportunities you can find to stay connected to these people who have walked the journey with you, because this is where the action is. And finally, I want to leave you with the most important message of all. This is crucial, so everybody lean in, listen very closely. No, really, lean in. If you remember nothing else I have said today, nothing else, I want you to remember this. If you have any good cases or referrals, please don't hesitate to call, send an email, you can fax me, you can write smoke signals, carrier pigeons, one of those planes with the signs on them. I will not turn anything down, I promise you. Thank you all, God bless. Polls out.
Thank you very much, Simeon. Now, with great pride, I call forward the JD graduates for the distribution of their diplomas. Four members of our faculty will call the names of the graduates. Presenting the first graduates is Professor Doris Del Tosto Brogan.
Mark Dwayne Houston II. Eric Thomas Burkhard. Christopher Charles Reese. Richard A.J. Preble. Michael R. Romeo. Caitlin Ashley Leon. Jamie C. Baird. William Joseph Riley. Ryan Mitchell Schmuckler. Nora Lynn Olszewski. Virginia Eve Hansen. Joshua Jacobs. Matthew Dobson. Jillian Rose Subio. Peter Heinzel Reist. Rebecca Jean Firehammer. Elise Renate Herzl-Best. Ashley Noel Catalano Leckerman. Sean Caulfield. Amanda Marie Orozco. Sabrina Ann Peterman. Farah Ashley Cohen. Macy Rose Manolis. Daniela L. Chaviano. Zachary Allen Schisler. Max Twer. Ryan Paul Duffy. Alexander David Torres. Mark C. Arakalian. Katie Lynn Grillo. Christopher Gordon Bibb. Jennifer Jan Healy. Norman Robin McNeil. Benjamin Curtis Pike Yarder. Lauren Anthony. Kelsey Marie O'Neill. Grace Elizabeth Lemke. Jennifer A. Ward. Catherine Anna Clark. Reading next is my colleague, Professor Steve Chanenson.
Rachel Jennifer Gordon. Mary Salvucci. Maria Chantal Salvamini. Kelly Ann Weber. Daniel P. Casulo. Andrew Ryan Olsees. Joseph A. McAway III. Sarah Lynn Holtzauer. Adam Kanji. Sean Hoffman. B. Ever Hannah. Ruby Kaloof. Aya Samra. Robert M. Zanella, Jr. Evan Harrison Holland. Kennedy Alex Constantino. Stephen F. Caggiano II. Samantha Lee Haggerty. Elizabeth Ann Flanagan. Sean C. O'Halloran. Shannon F. Delaney. Tyler Joseph Stampone. Blake Farrell Zucker. Bridget Mary Cahal. Madison Sloan Clemens. Alicia Evelyn Downs. Jay Juan Han. Lauren Elise Otero. Megan Nicole Kinley. Eric R. Alcon. Marie Bussy Garza. Erica Ashley Russo. Jonathan Paul Silva. Amelia Ezo Carato. Liam Joseph Leiden. Austin Robert Murphy. Alessa N. Torres. Jacob Rusal. Joseph Anthony Brooks. Rebecca Yen Barrett. The next set of names will be read by my colleague, Professor Kathy Lankto.
Molly Rose Marte. Megan Ashley Mills. Lauren Jennifer Berenbaum. Katrina Alexis Shea. Ashley Elizabeth Baxter. Bailey Christine Coltrap. Megna Reddy. Lauren C. Mazzatelli. Stephanie Ann Marcosi. Philip Ravi Herinarine. Eileen Kelly Conway. Alyssa Marie Amoroso. Gregory Thomas Ladadio. Eric Galco. Jillian Mary Hart. Mary Margaret Zoller. Margaret Teresa Trembath. Gabriel Castillo. Amy Lynn Nagowski. Gina Maria Dietz. Kelsey A. Cryer. Devin Virginia Stauffer. Taylor Steve Adams. William Felice Salduti IV. Ariel Eden Givner. Catherine Reamy. Nathan L. Rudy. Alan Henry Conklin. Neelam Madlasafi Vahora. Brianna Lynn Schill. Emily Rose Paulus. Eugene Svilik. Luke Terrence LaRocca. David Samuel Jaffe. Christina Marie Russo. Gabriella Therese Sarath. Caitlin Danielle Shire. Kendall Marie George. Igor A. Vasserfire. Matthew Christopher DeMeo. The next set of graduates will be read by my colleague Jennifer O'Hare.
Brian Michael Dublin. Augusta Zay Ime. Leah Shang Washington. Carolyn E. Ruth. Jacob Kennedy Minton. Daniel DeCino. Gabrielle Kellerchian. Ann Yaskoski. Connor James Wigginton. Andrew Francis Barris. Matthew Kyle Arnold. Mark Bennett Robertson. Richard Stephen Calabrese, Jr. Robert Turchik. Carl Folks. Daniel Patrick O'Hare. Kevin Michael Talbot. John Francis Kane III. Shadia Marie Combs. Taryn L. Napper. Miza Rahman. Brenna Simonson. Thomas J. Sinclair. Ashley Catherine Albano. Roseanne Piccolo. Brian Ponce. Hassan Faizi Agoran. Louis E. Canellis. Christian A. Martin. Megan P. Machiolo. Sorry. Eric Michael Sweeney. Effie Taylor. Janet Akinola. Sydney L. Naylor. Ashley D. Hobson. Simeon Poles.
Professor Edward Leva, Director of the Graduate Tax Program, will now present the recipients of the Master of Laws in Taxation.
Jennifer Selvin McCluskey. Megan Janowick. Michelle Tantores. Elizabeth Hall Smith. Lauren Tatum Olin. Hubert Mark Torrafiel Hilario. Brian I. Footer. Laura Lynn Thomas. Daniel S. Eckenrode. Elizabeth Zwan Milne. Jacqueline Ann Kunkel. Harrison George Hess. Kimberly Elisa Beer.
University President Father Peter Donahue will now confer the Juris Doctor degrees. Candidates who have been approved for the degree, please rise and remain standing until your degrees have been conferred. Father President, I present for the degree of Juris Doctor the candidates who have been approved by the faculty and whose names are on the official list for graduation. In our program, you will note the names of the candidates who will graduate cum laude and magna cum laude. Deserving of a special mention is the following individual who graduates summa cum laude: Marie Bussy Garza.
By the authority committed to me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor, admitting you to all the rights and privileges which throughout the world pertain to that degree, in testimony whereof you have received the diploma of the university, officially signed and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Congratulations.
Be seated. University President Father Peter Donahue will now confer the degrees of Master of Laws in Taxation. Candidates who have been approved for that degree, please rise and remain standing until your degrees have been conferred. Father President, I present for the degree of Master of Laws in Taxation the candidates who have been approved by the faculty and whose names are on the official list for graduation.
By the authority committed to me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Laws in Taxation, admitting you to all the rights and privileges which throughout the world pertain to that degree, in testimony whereof you have received the diploma of the university, officially signed and sealed with the seal of the corporation. Congratulations. one can't help but notice very few people stood for the Masters of Taxation people, but congratulations. You've heard a lot of lessons today. You've been given a lot of things that you should think about as you move through this world as lawyers. Both Judge Todd gave you some wonderful lessons, but also your classmate Simeon gave you some wonderful lessons. One thing in particular, that you all should listen to Nana. And but there's lots of things that you will do and accomplish. If you remember 3 years ago when I addressed you in the foyer, the atrium of the law school, I told you that the name of the land that the buildings were built on over there was dubbed Mount Misery. And it was because when the Augustinians came here in 1842, there was a steep incline up to that section of the property. And one of them, a Father Patrick Moriarty, dubbed it as Mount Misery because it was a difficult walk up that hill. I'm sure all of you have experienced that in one way or another. But if you listen to all of the things you got today, I think it's important that you follow the train of thought of both speakers that you heard, and that both of them talked about the very concepts, lessons that you should know as Villanovans, to live a life of veritas, unitas, and caritas. And I pray that every day you as Villanovans will find a way to ignite change, not only in yourselves, but in the many people that will surround you. Over the years, it is obvious that you have had a journey together, and you have supported and confronted each other. You've probably agreed and disagreed with each other. You've laughed with each other, cried, debated, but I hope you've always cheered for each other. You have taught and learned from each other, and together you have grown because of the encounter you have had with each other. You have been poets and prophets, saints and sinners. And you've succeeded and you've failed, you've won and you've lost, but you know that a Villanovan is always a champion. Don't ever forget that at one point in your life journey, 800 Lancaster Avenue was a place that you called home. This institution has given you the keys to open the doors to many different places. And I hope those doors that you open, those new homes that you find, you will always bring a little Villanova with you. For 175 years, this institution has asked people to remain rooted and relevant, but always restless. 2 Augustinians came out here in 1842 and bought this property and took a huge risk on a dream. You are the legacy of that dream. Congratulations. Good luck to each and every one of you, and please keep in touch.
So we are almost at the end of our 60-second commencement, and I want to take just a moment to speak about this remarkable day. And before doing so, I want to say a few quick thank yous. First, a very special thanks to Father Peter Donahue and the entire university administration for their never-ending support of our law school. Father President sets a tone for our university with a daily lived commitment to our core principles of veritas, unitas, and caritas, truth, community, and love. Thank you very much. A sincere thanks to our staff and administration who handle all the details of running Villanova Law. As the graduates, as you all have been walking the path toward becoming lawyers, the staff and administration have been clearing the path, tending it, and always making sure that it's ready for when you walk on it. Next thanks go to our tremendous faculty. They have challenged, counseled, taught, mentored, cajoled, and inspired you, the graduates. they gave their every day to helping you develop the skills and the knowledge that it takes to become a lawyer. And today, amidst the faculty, I want to single out one member of our faculty, Walter Taggart. Walter is a graduate of the class of 1968. He's retiring after 47 years of service in the faculty. He's enjoyed an extraordinary career, long, distinguished career, and I'd like us all to thank Professor Walter Taggart for all he has done for Villanova Law. And having said those thank yous, I want to offer just a few words of my own as we take one last look at this group of distinguished individuals before they depart the campus and head to their lives as lawyers. It's commencement today, you know that. It's a day I truly love. It's one of the truly great moments in the life of the law school every year, a day when we celebrate the accomplishments of the graduating class. And I recall that day 25 years ago for myself when I graduated law school as though it were yesterday. What I remember most is my family. And what I cherish most about this day as your dean is family. I love watching families celebrate the great accomplishments of the graduating students. Such joy, such love, such pride. As we just witnessed, such thundering applause. So in these few minutes I have, I want to talk with the grandparents and the parents and the siblings, spouses, significant others, children, friends of our graduates. I am so proud of all of our graduates, but not more than you are. You have known them a long time. On the other hand, I've just started here about a year ago, but I've learned a great deal about the class of 2017 in this time, and let me tell you 5 things that I have learned. They're smart. These graduates excelled in high school and college and earned a coveted spot in our very challenging law school. They have studied a range of subjects from constitutional law to evidence to intellectual property, mastering each one along the way. They have researched and written excellent exams, papers, and briefs. They've negotiated and advocated on behalf of clients, making insightful legal arguments. In short, they have shown great intellectual ability, and they've applied it to the rigorous study of law. They're courageous. Going to law school isn't easy. Yes, we know the class of 2017 has plenty of brain power, but that's not enough. You need to have the courage to aim for law school and to aim high for Villanova. And being a lawyer is no walk in the park. It takes courage to be the guide, the voice, the advocate for a client. It takes courage to be a lawyer in the finest tradition of the profession, as exemplified by distinguished individuals like Justice Deborah Todd today. Third thing, they're fun. Yes, the class of 2017 is full of smart people who are courageous, but it's not all serious. These are nice people. They're folks with a sense of humor. I walk the halls. I see them smiling and laughing with each other. We enjoy ourselves here. Law school is hard, but the class of 2017 has proven that it can also be fun. And I pray that they carry all that spirit of joy and kindness with them in their future adventures. I guess perhaps follow a little bit of Nana's advice. Fourth thing, they're compassionate. The class of 2017 is served in so many ways, demonstrating a deep commitment to others. The legal profession itself is dedicated to serving others. That requires servant leadership and genuine compassion for your client. No matter where the client is coming from, whether rising up in the world of high finance or falling down to deep despair, we must have compassion for them, and indeed, the members of the class of 2017 have that compassion. We are indeed a school with a soul. And finally, they are passionate. You see it everywhere, in the Commons, debating the finer points of law, running the basketball court in the Dean's Cup, arguing in the Remo Moot Court competition, speaking at a student event, everywhere. Everywhere they are, the class of 2017 carry great passion to their lives. Now, I could go on for a long time, but I think you get the point. So to the friends and family of the class of 2017, I say thank you. Thank you for sharing these extraordinary individuals with us here at the Villanova University Charles Widger School of Law. And to the class of 2017, this is a great day. This is your day. Today, nothing and nobody, nothing compares to you. Nothing is going to eclipse your greatness today. And I say congratulations on a job well done. I look forward to seeing where you go on the road ahead. Congratulations. Following the benediction, please remain in your places while Vice Dean Todd Agard, Associate Dean April Barton, Associate Dean Michelle Madden-Dempsey, and Professor Edward Leva, Marshals of the Class of 2017, lead the graduates from the pavilion. Now, Dr. Barbara Wall, Vice President for Mission and Ministry, will offer the benediction.
Please stand. Let us take just a moment to bring our energies back inside and reflect on God's presence here today and in each other. Oh God, excuse me, we ask you to bless our women and men who graduate today, that the work you have begun in them from the time they were knit together in their mother's womb will continue to enable them on this journey of life to walk with humility, knowing what is true, and that the gifts they have are from you. Give them the wisdom to understand the difference between information and truth, so that they may better appreciate and cherish your ways of justice and mercy. Unleash the passion for justice in them, and shower your grace on them in ways that enable them to imbue goodness, truth, and right relationships throughout all their lives. May they never forget all the people, especially their family and friends, who have been part of their formation all these years. Bless them with good friends and mentors who will guide them in the pursuit of goodness all the days of their lives as they begin a new journey today as advocates and counselors. O God, inspired by your standing with the poor, the stranger, and the disadvantaged, we pray that you strengthen all of us gathered here to continue to stand with you every day in ways that contribute to building a world of justice and peace. Amen.